Welcome back to RamZland. Today I want to show you the amazing Prussian Blue double displacement reaction. Check this out. For this reaction, we'll use two graduated cylinders, both with 100 milliliters of distilled water. We're using iron sulfate and we're using potassium ferrocyanide. The first step is to measure out 2 grams of potassium ferrocyanide. Then add your potassium ferrocyanide to 100 milliliters of distilled water and stir the mixture until it's completely dissolved and you have a nice homogeneous solution. Next, measure out 2 grams of iron sulfate. In the same way, dissolve your iron sulfate in 100 milliliters of distilled water and mix it until you have a nice homogeneous solution. Okay, and now we're ready to combine both of our solutions. Over here I have my potassium ferrocyanide, and over here I have my iron sulfate. When I combine them, you'll see Prussian Blue, the insoluble precipitate form. Here we go. Check it out. Look at that! Isn't that beautiful? That is Prussian Blue. Just amazing. Prussian Blue is such an interesting precipitate. It was first discovered by Johann Diesbach. He was a pigment maker in 1706. He was trying to make a red dye, and he was using potash that was accidentally contaminated with blood. But since there's iron in blood, he accidentally made iron ferrocyanide, which created that deep blue precipitate. And immediately he realized that that could be a much better pigment than what he was previously using. And it became the first synthetic pigment for painters to use, which is now used to paint cars and even blueprints. 100 years later, it was Van Gogh who used iron ferrocyanide to make his famous painting, Starry Night. And if you look at the swirls in this Petri dish in this next experiment, you'll see that it looks a lot like Starry Night. Check it out. Now let's try to get a closer look at this reaction in a Petri dish. I have my potassium ferrocyanide and a dropper with just a little bit of iron sulfate. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Immediately you see the beautiful Prussian Blue insoluble precipitate form. Isn't that amazing? Just a beautiful reaction. Here's the balanced equation for this amazing double displacement reaction. We start with the reactants, iron sulfate and potassium ferrocyanide. We have 3 moles of iron sulfate, that's the 3FeSO4, and we have 2 moles of potassium ferrocyanide, that's the 2K3FeCN6. When those are both dissolved in aqueous solutions and combined, you get the products iron 2 ferrocyanide and potassium sulfate. We have 1 mole of iron 2 ferrocyanide, that's the Fe3 FeCN6 and that's the Prussian Blue, that's the precipitate that's used as a pigment in paint. And then we also have potassium sulfate, that's the 3K2SO4 in this amazing double displacement reaction. I hope you enjoyed today's edition of RamZland, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this presentation, be sure to remember to like and subscribe.